Welcome. I promised you I was going to make this video to show you how to carry out a simple edit to an image. For the purpose of this class, the photo essay that you're writing, I would use this picture to demonstrate how you can use a simple photo editing app like Lightroom to edit your photos. Okay, you can use any other photo editing app that you have available to you, maybe on your phone, even your normal iPhone or Android photo editing app can do. And for the purpose of this illustration, excuse me, I'll use just the light settings, the light editing settings. If you open Lightroom, for instance, it's a very robust editing app that's provided by Adobe. That's used by professionals to edit their photos. So there's this light feature, there's a color feature, there's effects, detail, optics, lens, blur. For the purpose of this illustration, I'll use only this light feature because you don't need all these other ones, all right, for the aesthetics. So because all I need you to do is just basic photo editing. This photo is properly exposed, but we're going to edit it a bit just so that most of the features will pop. Most parts of the picture will pop. The idea for photo editing for a photojournalist is so that you can show every part of your image very clearly, especially the parts that you want to highlight. I'm going to crop this so that you can see what I'm showing you very well. Okay, so let's reduce this a bit. All right, cool. Now, look at the part of the picture, all right? So in photo edits, the most important thing is you need to identify what story you're about to tell in a picture. What story you want to tell, who's your subject, and what's your subjective. My subject is I want to show off this building. I want the person who looks at this picture to be able to see this building clearly without any distractions, without missing any detail. Naturally, because of the way I took this picture, the sky is set in the background. The foreground is this building, and I see these human beings here moving around. There's a story here. Some people are coming to this. There's a chapel right behind here where I'm standing. I'm standing on the staircase and taking this picture. This photo was taken at Fatima in Portugal. And you see these people coming down and walking towards it. A lot of people here. So I want to show off. I want these people to be shown in this picture very clearly. I want you to see their skin tone, their complexion. I want you to be able to see this building very clearly, such that the shadows are not too dark or too bright, so that the highlights are not too bright. If you notice, if you look very clearly, you see that around this place there are some clouds here. I want them to pop. So some of the tools I'm going to use will play around with these features here: the exposure, the contrast, highlights, shadows, whites, and blacks. Okay, so to start editing this photo, first of all, exposure is how exposed your camera is to light, or your picture is to the light. All right, so if I increase it this way, move it to the right, I'm increasing it. You see that it's overblown. Look at the white parts. You see that it's becoming too white, and I'm losing the details here. Look at the brightest parts of the picture, for instance, around here. I'm losing the details here, but if I drag it back down, you see that the clouds show. But I don't want to drag it too low, such that the dark spots become too dark and I lose out the detail. Yes, I'm trying. So my primary focus in this picture to show you is not the sky. If it was the sky, this would be nice because I see that the sky is properly exposed and you are seeing the clouds very clearly. But my focus here is to show you this building and the people here in the foreground. So what I'll do is increase it lightly enough so that I don't lose out the detail in the clouds, but at least you can see the people clearly. Now, watch the brightest parts of this cloud, okay? So I can safely leave it here. Yes, these places are dark, but I'm going to do something else, okay? The contrast can drop. The contrast affects how dark the dark spots are, okay? So I can drop it down a little so that they are exposed a little. Let's increase the exposure again, not too much. I think we can be fine here. Okay, so these parts are not too bright. Then leave the contrast. So if I increase the contrast, see that these dark spots are too dark around here. I'm losing out all the detail, even the human beings. So let's bring it back down. Something else you notice is if I increase the contrast, this place becomes very blue. The sky it looks nice, but that's not my concern. So I'll drop it back down a little bit here. Okay, so that contrast might not be our major focus. Now the highlights are another part I want to see. Highlight affects the brighter spots of the image. So look at this part, look at this part. I drop the highlights. The highlights really is to make sure, first of all, let's bring back the exposure, okay? Bring back the exposure. I'll do something, I'll tell and explain. If I go to the highlights, notice these brighter spots of the image, these parts. The highlights make sure that the white parts are not too whitewashed. So I drop the highlights. If I increase it, see that it's a bit too bright around here. So I drop it back down. It's easy on the eyes, it's not too sharp, okay? And then I go to the shadows, watch the shadowy parts, the shadows, where the shadows exist. The idea is to, if I increase the shadows, I'm losing out on the details of the shadows, right? I don't want the shadows to disappear. If I drop it back down, I have to be careful not to drop it too low so that I don't lose the shadows don't get too dark. So leave it in a sweet spot around here, such that this part, look at this roof here, is not too bright, it becomes whitewashed or hazy. I bring it down a little, I can still see the detail. This is fine. White affects the white spots in the image such that they are not too white. If I push it to this side, see that it's becoming over saturated, too white. Bring it back down low enough that I can still see the detail, but it's not too much. See? Good. I think you can even leave it here. The blacks, same thing, affects, look at the darker spots, look at all these spots, look at these black spots. If I drop it down, it becomes too dark. If I increase it, it becomes too bright. So drop it to a point where the shadows look natural and it's not too dark. Now, this picture will be perfect if I now go back to this exposure and I bring it down a little. When you even look at it, you can see that you like the way this picture looks. It's easy on the eyes. It's not hurting your eye to look at. So I'm going to show you the before. This is the original picture, before the edit and after. So that it looks nice. This is how to edit a picture. As simple as that. So play with these features here. Exposure, contrast, highlight, shadows, white, blacks. You find all these natural settings, these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 as the basic settings in any photo editing app on your mobile device or your computer. Lightroom is advanced, used by professional photographers, but you can make do with your phone editing app, whether you use an Android or an iPhone, to perform the exact same things and get the exact same results. All right, so before, after. Notice that even the trees, I can see the greens. Before, I couldn't, they were darkened out. After, I can see them. Human beings, before, look at this lady here, she looked a bit too dark. After, you see that I see her skin tone, her complexion pops. That's how you edit a picture. All right, so try it and let me know. If you have any challenges, remember to ask your questions in the comments below or send me an email as we earlier communicated in class. Good luck.